Good evening and welcome out to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I'll be showing you around the site a little bit tonight, let you know a little bit about us, who we are, what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, all of that fun stuff. So without any further ado, let's dive right into it. At the very basic level, I mean, really what tackle trading is, it's a bunch of traders that have come together to help each other out, bounce ideas off of one another, share knowledge, all of that fun stuff. Uh, when I'm explaining it, though, I like to break it into three camps: the things that you can do on your own, the things that you can do with others, and lastly, our weekend reports. And so that'll be kind of the way that we come at it here this evening. As we get diving in here, let's start with the things that you can do on your own. And to me, at least, courses are kind of the first thing that comes to my mind in that regard. We do have a variety of courses available to all of our pro members, including the 7-Step Guide to Trading. This short course, it's about 2 hours, I would say, in total, will probably be most useful if you're newer to the markets. But even if you're a veteran trader, there's probably a tidbit or two that could, maybe make your existing trading plan and routine a little smoother. It'll also kind of introduce you, I guess, to the tackle trading philosophy, if you will. No two traders are the same, but I do think as a community, we do share some core values. We believe in that top-down analysis, how we choose our trading strategies, how we find in our trades, planning, placing, managing, journaling the trade. And so it will kind of give you an idea of the tackle trading approach to the markets. And like I said, if you're a newer trader in particular, it'll probably help get you a little bit of structure and organization going on as well, which is always helpful, right? It's you always want to make the most of the time that you are putting in. Beyond the 7-Step Guide to Trading, we have a technical analysis 101 course. As you probably could guess, as traders, we do a lot of charting, and that's exactly what we're focusing on there in the technical analysis course. Charts, and more charts, right? Support, resistance, patterns, trends, momentum, candlesticks, all of that fun stuff. Great thing about technical analysis is it's useful no matter what else, right? If you're day trading crypto, you're going to use technical analysis. If you're position trading cash flow strategies, you're going to use technical analysis. If you're a swing trader, whatever time frame, whatever products you use, you will be using technical analysis, which is awesome. We also have an options 101 course. Here in this options course, you're going to focus a lot more on the contract and why it does what it does, right? What's going on when you buy or sell that call option or buy or sell that put option? What are the factors influencing the price of that contract? We're not going to focus a tremendous amount on the strategies in that particular course. I'll show you where you can find them here shortly. But I'm going to talk about the Greeks and volatility and liquidity and those type of things. And I do strongly believe that the better we truly understand why the contract does what it does, the easier any of those strategies are going to be for us. If you've ever found yourself interested in either the futures or the Forex markets, but not quite known exactly where to start, we have introduction courses to those markets as well. In a lot of ways, they're very similar to the stock market. In other ways, they've definitely got their own things. They're very leveraged markets. We need to understand a few of the things that are going on over there. I know not everybody wants to trade Forex, not everybody wants to trade futures, and quite honestly, that's fine. But if you do want to trade them, you certainly can, right? And this can be a great place to start to get a little bit more information if either of those products have been something you've ever wanted to take a closer look at from a trading point of view. Regardless of what you're trading, Forex, futures, options, stock, crypto, whatever, we do need to have very clearly defined rules and systems in place, right? And I think we all agree with that. But it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. And so our system development course is really focused on training you to become a systems builder when it comes to your trading. It really is a fantastic course, and I cannot recommend it enough. Regardless of your experience level in the market, the things that you like to trade, I am a firm believer that when you have your system in place and you trust it and you know how to execute it, trading becomes a lot easier and a lot more fun. And so I can't recommend that one enough. I think you'll very, very much enjoy it. You'll also find a handful of premium systems down here as well. What these are is they're one-time purchases. They're individual standalone systems The Tackle 25 is a covered call-based systems on a select group of stocks that we put together each year to do cash flow via covered calls. Step system is our approach to swing trading the markets, just stands for stop loss target entry and position size. Cash flow condors, another cash flow system on the Russell 2000 this time, and bear market survival guide, kind of surviving in bearish market conditions, right? All of these are one-time purchases. The system is yours for life. We get together with each members of these teams once a month in a mastermind group. We'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. If you would like a little more information on any of those, you can find it over in the store tab, or you can feel free to send us an email to team@tackletrading.com, and we will be happy to get you some more information on any of those different systems. In addition to courses, we are going to do regular blog content. Sometimes it's going to be in video format, sometimes it's going to be in written format, but these are going to be relatively short, right? A 5-minute read, a 12-minute video type of a thing. Just another way that we can, share ideas with the team throughout the week, answer our team's questions that might be coming in, whether it's more charting and details of technician, more kind of starting from the ground up over in the rookie corner, more options in the option theory blog, hearing from our awesome female trading community in the Women in Trading blog. So these are just another way that you can, hopefully enhance your daily or monthly routine and get some different trading ideas. Over in the Trade Center, you're going to find a couple of things. You're going to find a link to our clubhouse, our glossary, our journals, as well as the Tackle Trading Playbook. Here in the playbook is where you're going to find all of our strategies and the rules for those strategies. We break our strategies into 3 core areas based off of the option Greeks, Delta, Theta, and Vega. Our Delta playbook is our directional playbook, right? I think the stock is going to go from 50 to 55, from 80 to 70, from 400 to 450, whatever, from point A to point B, right? So, of course, that would include buying or selling stock, right? But that would also include, long options, buying calls, buying put options, debit spreads, diagonal spreads, basically movement-based strategies. Then you can have the Theta playbook. This is our cash flow playbook, right? The cool thing about options is we can sell them and bring in that premium, which has been really nice as of late with the pricing that we've seen on the options. Getting some pretty good credits across the board, I think, in the market. That's going to be things like selling naked puts, selling covered calls, selling credit spreads, selling iron condors, basically selling based strategies. And then lastly, the Vega or the volatility playbook, where we're playing the expectation of volatility, not so much the direction, right? So we just are wrapping up an earnings season, right? But we've seen some pretty crazy moves this time, just like all the others, right? And so maybe we have a stock that has a history of making big moves on earnings. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down based off they meet expectations, beat expectations. But there's no way that we could ever know what a company's going to do this quarter, right? That's not information that we have until we get it, right? But we may feel that we have an edge based off of, the historical performance of the stock making big moves one way or the other on that earnings announcement. So these are the type of trades like long straddles and strangles that we have over in the volatility playbook. In each of these, there's going to be a detailed video going over, what the strategy is, why we would choose the strategy, when we would use the strategy, how we would build the strategy, our rules for the strategy, right? Kind of whole 9 yards. There's also a little downloadable PDF. So you have easy access to the rules. Hey, how much time am I buying or selling? What's my delta rule? That type of stuff. So you have easy access to those rules. You'll also notice that on all of them, there's anywhere from a 0 to a plus or a -3. And if you just kind of think about it as, 0 is flat neutral, 1 or -1 would be slightly bullish or slightly bearish, 2 or -2 would be bullish or bearish, 3 or -3 would be very bullish or very bearish. That's just kind of where we see the strategy along those lines. It's always important to match the strategy to our view of the situation, right? If we think we're going to be, in a slow, grindy trend, buying a call option might not be the number one strategy because we're going to, have to deal with some time decay if it's slow and grindy, right? So maybe we want to choose a different strategy as an example. So that's kind of what you're seeing right there. So that is the Tackle Trading Playbook. If you go directly into the Trade Center, this will bring you to a What's Up at Tackle Trading page. It'll kind of let you know what our next show is, our most recent posts, our most recent tweet, There's a little watch list that you can build for yourself in here if you would like to do so. Say you wanted to, add Netflix to your watch list. I'll just, go in there. Now I'm going to hit this plus button, and now Netflix will be on this watch list. If I decide, I don't need John Deere on this watch list anymore, I'll just select them and hit this little minus button. That'll get rid of them. Just so you have an easy access to your watch list. I know not everybody is going to use that, and that's fine, but it is a pretty handy little tool. There will be a replay or a live showing of one of our YouTube webinars, typically the halftime report, but one of our YouTube shows, where you are in any of the courses that you're taking, so you can pick right up where you left off. Little mini calendar of the next very short term, hear what's going on at Tackle Trading. So really just kind of a what's up page. It really is. There's also a variety of trader tools in here. You'll find a link to the market skyline in here. You're just going to find all of the big stuff in one place, right? So the major indexes and futures in this case for the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, Bitcoin, the VIX, the emerging markets, the all world ETF, the major commodities, copper, crude, silver, etc., the sector ETFs. Basically, all of this is a big part of that daily routine, that top-down analysis, right? And we just wanted to have an easy to access page where all of it was in one place. You certainly don't have to do this on this page. You can, of course, but it is important, I think, from a daily routine perspective that we're looking at these things each day. There's also a link to the FinViz heat maps. If you want to kind of take a different visual of the day that was, it'll just bring you to finviz.com to their heat maps page. We can kind of see, what areas were in the green today, another good day for energy, another rough day over in tech, right? So probably couldn't build a trade off of this, but I can maybe generate some ideas off of it. It's also got a little bit of customization. It's defaulted to the S&P 500 for one day, but we can look at the weekly, monthly, quarterly performance, yearly performance, certain fundamental ratios, and things like that. So it is a pretty handy little tool. So that's just what that open heat maps link will bring you to. There's a link to a news aggregator. This is just going to go through some of these different financial sites and kind of grab the headlines and the stories for us, so we can just kind of scroll and kind of read the ones that we find interesting, right? So, you'll find things in here from the Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Market Watch, the Times. And it's not that we couldn't find these other ways. Of course, we could. We can just go directly to CNBC or whatever. But just wanted to save some bouncing around time, right? So I can just kind of scroll through, see if something's interesting. Oh, that's an interesting story. I want to read it. You might look at that story and say, that's not interesting at all. I don't want to read it, right? That's kind of why we put this together. There's a link to the economic calendar, so you can see what's on the docket for the day or for the week that could, impact your trading. A link to our market reports, which you'll also find on this drop down. We'll talk about them shortly. A link to the compounding gains calculator or a chart if you ever need one. Another link to that glossary, the search tool, which is also this magnifying glass right up here. And it is pretty smart. So if you're ever looking for, more information, say on a particular strategy or a particular subject, like moving averages or something, can easily do a search. Very good chance you'll find, some really good discussions on that thing. You'll also find another link to the trade journals. If you recall, you'll catch them on the drop down of the Trade Center, but you can also get them directly here in the Trade Center. And if you do come into it through the Trade Center, like we're doing right now, this will bring you to the page that, well, I don't know what happened to my, it just disappeared. That's interesting. I don't know why it just disappeared. So, I don't know. I guess the wonders of being on live. So there is another link. I don't know where it just went. I'm assuming that's a my computer thing because it's always been there. But there is another link to the trade journals, and there is a video tutorial on there as well if you need a little bit of help figuring them out. We have 3 different journals. We have the trade journal, which is kind of exactly probably what you think. We let it know what we did, how much of it we did, when we did it. And it's going to track the rest, our profit loss, how long we were in the trade, how much our average winning trade cost us, how much our average losing trade costs us, all of that fun stuff. Very important information. You'll also find the theta research tool where you can build and compare your cash flow strategies, as well as a portfolio journal just to kind of help you stay organized on all of them. And it looks like it just auto logged me out for some odd reason. And hopefully it'll log me back in. And that's probably what happened there. Yeah, there we go. I was wondering that. Well, mystery solved. So here's that tutorial video that I brought up, and you can, if you come into it through the trade center like I did just here, you can just select which journal you're looking for, download it on this page directly. Again, you can do that as well on the drop down. So those are some of the different things that you can kind of do on your own, based off of where you are, what you're working on, all of that fun stuff. Let's kind of shift gears and talk a little bit about things that you can do with others, right? And basically, that's going to be our schedule. We're going to be with the team in a variety of ways each and every market day, starting each market morning with our Traders Lounge at 11 a.m. Eastern. We get together with members of the team for an hour here at Tackle Trading in what we call our Traders Lounge. It's a very informal place where our team members can bring their questions, ask for help if they need it, share ideas, really whatever our team needs is what we're going to discuss each morning in that Traders Lounge. So if you ever need some help, or if you're struggling with a strategy, or if you have a trade setup you wanted to get some eyeballs on and get some feedback on, or if you got a trade and you're thinking about different management techniques, if you're struggling with your daily routine, whatever it might be, we're happy to discuss all of those things each market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern in our Traders Lounge. We are not going to record every single Traders Lounge we do because, quite frankly, no one's going to go back and watch one from 3 months ago or a year ago, right? But we will regularly record snippets, on some of our discussions, and we'll get them posted in here as well. Shortly after our lounge is over, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for our Tackle Trading Halftime Report. That's a live looking at the market where we're going through that top-down analysis, that daily routine, right? So, what's going on in the market today, how it is impacting our indexes, sectors, commodities, stocks in the news, kind of the whole 9 yards, staying on top of the gigantic story that is the market. That's right here on our YouTube channel at 12:30 p.m. Eastern each market day. So whether it's the morning here at Tackle Trading in the Lounge or in the afternoon for the halftime report, we will be working the markets every single day they're open with members of our team. We're also going to do evening shows as well. On Tuesday nights, we do our coaches show at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. In our coaches show, a couple of the coaches can get together and there's so many things that we can talk about as traders, right? I mean, whether it's indicators, using moving averages, whether it's particular patterns, trading, bull flags, trading bearish breakdowns, whether it's particular strategies, when to, buy, calls versus do bull calls, right? Daily routine, portfolio design. I mean, there's so many things, right? The list goes on and on and on. The coaches show really allows us to zero in on one of those things and have an in-depth discussion on that one subject with our community. That's every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. The coaches show is recorded and archived, so if you can't make it, or if you need to rewatch it a second time, or if it's just more convenient to watch it on Saturday morning, or if you want to watch an episode from 6 weeks ago on a subject that you find interesting, very easy to do, very easy to find there in the archives of the coaches show. That's Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our Cash Flow Club. It'll be a little more narrowly focused than the coaches show. We're definitely going to really just isolate and focus on those cash flow strategies, right? Those covered calls, those iron condors, those credit spreads, those naked puts, building and managing those cash flow strategies. I would say as a whole, we are very fond of cash flow trading here at Tackle Trading. So we wanted to have a dedicated place where we could have those discussions each and every week. So that's our Thursday show. On Mondays, typically, not every Monday, but it's not quite as regimented as the coaches show in the Cash Flow Club, but it's pretty darn close. We meet up with members of these different mastermind groups, the Tackle 25, the Step System, right? Those premium systems in their monthly mastermind group. We invite all of our pro members to join us in those meetings, whether or not you've picked up the Step System or if you have the Tackle 25, it does not matter. All of our pro members are welcome to sit in on those discussions in those mastermind groups. We want to make sure that everybody is included as best that we can. That's typically going to be happening on a Monday. Not every Monday, but we do regular special webinars on Monday nights. Like, for example, last week, Coach Gino did one on options right here on our YouTube channel. They're not every week. I'd say they're closer to every other week-ish. And so, but we do want to make some time fairly regularly to meet up with our YouTube community. And of course, we invite all of our pro members as well. So keep an eye out for that as well. On Wednesday nights, I'm going to hop over to the events calendar here, show you what this looks like as we kind of talk Wednesdays. We do two things here. First off, right here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar. A couple of the coaches will get together with 3 different trade ideas, a Delta trade idea, a Theta trade idea, and a wildcard trade idea. Bounce them off of one another and our community. At the end of each round, our community will vote on whose idea they liked the best. And at the end, the winner is declared a trade master, unless you are Coach Holmesy and I, who tied last week, I think the first time in Trade Masters history. It was a tie. We get a rematch this Wednesday. Should be a lot of fun. But what it really is, it's a place where we can just get together with the team midweek and share some ideas, right? I don't think there's ever a bad way to find a trade idea. I don't like every trade idea I hear, and I hear lots of trade ideas, right? But in my mind, it's not the ones you don't like, it's the ones that you do. And there's never a bad way to find a trade, at least as far as I am concerned. So our Trade Masters really allows us to just share ideas with one another and with members of our team on Wednesday night, 7 Eastern, right here on the YouTube channel. And then shortly after that, we're going to hop back over here to Tackle Trading for our Wednesday night Traders Lounge at 8:30. It's going to be very similar to our morning Traders Lounge. Some people just can't make it at 11 a.m. Eastern. Maybe they've got other commitments. Maybe they're at work, whatever it might be. We need to have a place where they can come in and get some help and have some and have their questions answered if they need it. So going to be very, very similar. There will be one exception, is we're just coming out of that Trade Masters webinar, right? And so if anybody has any questions or needs us to go into more detail or anything along those lines on any of the ideas that we discussed there in that Trade Masters webinar, of course, we're happy to do that as well. So you've got on Wednesday nights at 7 Eastern for the Trade Masters webinar here on YouTube, and then at 8:30 Eastern, back over at Tackle Trading for that Wednesday night Traders Lounge. An overly simplified way to think about it is the morning lounge is really about what our team needs. Your questions, things that you need us to go over today, right? It's really about the team and what their needs are. The halftime report is really about the daily routine, really about staying on top of the market. And then the evening shows is really about kind of teaching and taking deeper dives and introducing new things to traders, kind of put that teacher's cap on a little bit, if you will. And that is certainly a very overly simplified way to look at it. But I do think it can kind of help kind of keep it organized in your head a little bit. We do a lot of content. We do more live content each week than most people can keep up with. And that's okay. You are invited to join us in all we do, but you don't have to, right? I always tell people you can build your own tackle trading. And if, you have things that are higher priorities for you than other things, that's life, right? So just know that we don't expect you to be in all of this stuff, but we certainly invite and welcome you to be in as much of it as you would like to be a part of. So that is going to be the schedule in this events calendar. If you're ever looking for, the information, hey, what's next? How do I get to it? Very easy to find there in that events calendar. That's going to bring us to the third camp here, and that's going to be our weekend reports. On Fridays, as coaches, we're all getting together in what we call our scouting report meeting. In that meeting, we're talking markets, we're talking commodities, we're talking sectors, we're talking trade setups, all of that fun stuff. And out of that scouting report meeting comes our weekend reports, our tackle newsletter, our stock, options, and commodity reports that we get delivered to our team by Saturday afternoons. They have plenty of time to get through any or all of them before the market's back up and running on Monday morning. Our newsletter is where we start. That's kind of that first step in that 7-step guide to trading. Start at the top of the market. And that's a core philosophy here at Tackle Trading. And that's exactly what we're doing each week in the newsletter. Coach Gino does a great job keeping the team up to date with the week that was. Hey, what happened last week? What were the big things that went on in the market? Look ahead to next week in the market, talk about sectors, the upcoming earnings, the economic reports for the week. Of course, have a video going through this stuff with the team, where the overall markets, be the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, or the Russell 2000 are, what the internals of the market are looking like. This is going to, look at over 8,000 stocks to get to look under the hood, if you will, in the market. We are also ranking the sectors each week based off of what we're seeing on the companies within those. A couple of things here. Number one, we use the sector spider ETFs to reflect the different sectors. If you're not familiar with the sector spider ETFs, basically what they do, well, XLE, for example, is the energy sector spider ETF. These are ETFs. They'll go into the S&P 500. Since we're talking energy, I'm going to pull out just the energy stocks, weighted accordingly, and place it into a portfolio. So we're getting an isolated look at the S&P 500 energy stocks, weighted to market cap, because it is coming off of the S&P 500, versus, say, the financials, right? Two very different looking charts, right? And that's oftentimes going to be the case. If you want to take a closer look at, how these things are built, how they're weighted, who's in them, all of that fun stuff, I would suggest going straight to the source. Go to the ETF provider's website. It's just www.sectorspdr.com. And in there, you can find out a lot more information about those ETFs. We're going to use them on our gridiron to kind of reflect that sector. That's not necessarily how we're ranking it based off of just what XLF or XLE looks like. That is a part of it, but we're looking at the stocks that comprise these areas, right? We're going to break our sectors down into three different areas. Going to have the growth sectors. That'll be technology, discretionary, and communications. They're going to be reflected in blue. The cyclical sectors, financials, industrials, basic materials, and energy, will be reflected here in gold. And then the defensive side of it will be reflected here in purple. That's going to be healthcare, real estate, utilities, and staples. So that's going to be kind of how that color coordination looks. As you can also see, we're going to put it along the lines of a football field. And if you're a football fan, you probably know that you spend a lot of time between the 20s in football, right? If you ever watch an NFL game or something like that, generally speaking, you're not spending a lot of time scoring touchdowns. And I think that's going to be pretty accurate too for our gridiron here. Between the 40s is going to be overall neutral with maybe a slight lean one way or the other, right? Between the 40 and 20 is going to be slightly bullish or slightly bearish. Between the 20 and the goal line is going to be bullish or bearish. And it's very unlikely that you'll ever see us put a whole sector in the end zone. I mean, you never say never. I don't think you will. I don't think I ever will do that. And I don't think we'll probably ever as a team do that, but you never know the future for sure. It would be very rare in the event that it did happen. That would be, of course, at -3. And we're just not that aggressive. And if you think about it, for an entire sector to be a plus or -3, that means there could be no outliers. That means it has to be so terrible that there's not one stock that's kind of going up. And while that's possible, that's usually not the case. There usually is an outlier, right? And so it's pretty unlikely you'll see us put things into that aggressive of territory. But you never say never. Each week, we're going to be upgrading or downgrading these sectors based off of what we're seeing on the stocks within these areas. We'll kind of talk you through the thought process and the whys of it all in the video portion of the newsletter. This week, we, a lot of downgrades, nothing not really upgraded, lots of downgrades throughout the market as a whole. Big part of what we're doing each week is based off of that sector analysis. At the end of our scouting report meeting, we just share our favorite trade ideas as coaches. We kind of the different ideas that we talked about for our stock report or option report. Each coach just kind of shares their favorite bullish setup and their favorite bearish setup, rapid fire style. Just a fun way to end the meeting and share ideas with the team. We are active over on our Discord channel. Certainly invite everybody to come on over and join us over there. It's a great way to be able to interact with the team, talk to other traders, ask for help, ask for things if you need it, have a good time, a lot of fun. You'll find a link to get over to that Discord channel in the newsletter each week. You'll find a reminder to match the strategy to the situation. That's really easy to remember on Monday night while the market's closed, right? But tomorrow at 11:42, when I'm looking at company XYZ, I might want a friendly reminder, right? So we also have a pre-built scanner. So if any particular area has caught your attention for whatever reason, whether it's bullish or bearish or neutral, and you want to do a quick scan of that sector, let's say we wanted to take a closer look at the staple sector here, for example, tonight, this will bring you back over to our friends at finviz.com. This is going to be a list of what I call trader-friendly stocks. And what I mean when I say that is they're very liquid, so it's very easy to trade shares. They're borrowable, so I can go short if I'm trying to trade to the downside, right? They're optionable. Now, if you trade options, this, just because a stock has options doesn't mean they're particularly liquid, right? I would say as a whole, most of the things in these scans are fairly easy to trade with options, but I would also say in every sector scan, there are some names that I would never trade options on. But whether it's through options or equity, one way or another, I'm going to be able to build a trade off of anything I find in here, right? And it's just going to bring me this little bird's eye view, right? I probably couldn't make a trade off of this, but I could get an idea that, I can kind of see Clorox. I'm cheating a little bit here because, I kind of know Clorox, what they're doing right now. But, Clorox just broke some resistance after a big downward move, started to show signs of life, and found resistance at its 200-day moving average. Maybe I want to go take a closer look at that. Or maybe I, find it interesting, the 74 resistance zone on GIS. Or maybe I like the fact that Philip Morris broke through resistance, broke through this downward trend, and want to go take a closer look at it, right? There's never a bad way to find an idea, right? I'm not, like I said, I wouldn't try to make a trade off of these things, but I can't say, okay, I'm going to take a look at this one, take a look at this one, take a look at this one, head over to my actual charting platform, do a little technical analysis, see if there's something there. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but it's an easy way to quickly go through a lot of stock charts and say, yeah, that one's interesting. Oh, I'm not interested in that one at all. Let's go take a closer look at that. So we have that build up for all of these different sectors. So very easy to find some ideas, at least if we're looking for a particular area. Just lastly, a quick world watch, as well as final thoughts for the week. Like I said, it's where we all start here at Tackle Trading. It's starting at the top of the market. And that's exactly what we're doing with Coach Gino. Does such a great job each week in that tackle newsletter. Over in the commodities report, Coach Mark does that for us, and he does a fantastic job each week keeping the team updated with what's going on in the world of commodities, right? He's going to talk about the technicals. He's going to talk about the fundamentals. He's going to talk about the themes that are going on in the commodities world. He's also does a really good job of highlighting alternatives and not everybody wants to trade futures, right? Where you might trade crude contracts or silver contracts or what have you. Some people want to, and that's great. That's fine. But a lot of people don't want to, right? And that's fine. There's going to be a lot of things that we can do through the equities and options market to take advantage of what we're seeing in the world of commodities as well. So Coach Mark always does a great job, highlighting ways that we could, play copper or gold or silver or whatever the case might be each week over in the commodity report. Our stock and options report are going to be built fairly similar to one another. Each week, we want to make sure we and the team have good quality swing trading candidates, both from a bullish and a bearish perspective in our watch list. That's true whether we're trading stock or options, right? So we're looking for potential swing style trading setups each week. Where they're going to differ is, things in the option report, everything in there, every coach at Tackle Trading is comfortable with the options and more than happy to trade options on that particular company. In the stock report, it might be in the stock report simply because the options aren't very liquid. Stock's plenty liquid, but the options are. That might be the reason it's in the stock report. It might also be other reasons, such as price, the way it moves, or what have you. But in the option report, everything is, at least from our point of view, perfectly reasonable to trade with options. The discussion is going to change a little bit too. In the stock report, we're going to talk more process, right? Because we're really thinking about it as stock trades. And so we're going to talk a lot more about process and building and entries and management and stop losses and targeting and all that fun stuff. In the options report, while that stuff's every bit as important, right, we're going to talk a lot more about the option side of things, right? Strategy selection. This might be a scenario where I would prefer to go with a bull call over a bull put for this reason based off of the pricing. So we'll talk a lot more about the strategy selection side in the options report each week. We want to make sure the team has a quality list of both bullish and bearish trade setups going in to each and every week. Again, there's no bad way to find a trade idea, right? You might not like everything in here, and I think it's pretty normal, right? You know, for most of us here at Tackle Trading, we go through the watch list. We take the setups that we like, we want to add to our weekly watch list, and the rest we just wish the best for, right? And it might just be, you know, I already have a lot of things energy. I don't need another energy stock in Oxy or Valero, right? It might be I just don't like. I do like Oxy and Valero, but maybe I just don't like them, right? Maybe I just don't like them, or maybe, you know, I prefer MPC to them going into the week or whatever it is. I guess at the end of the day, I don't ever have to tell anybody why I don't want to trade something, right? Neither do you. It's our money, but we want to make sure our team has a good quality watch list to work out of each and every week going into the market. A couple things really quickly. We use these trading view charts. You've seen them embedded on a few of the different pages. A couple of things that you can do on these things. So just for example, let's just go to Clorox here. If I want to hide the watch list, so I have a little more chart to work with, I'm just going to smack this widget button. That's just going to hide it, and I can bring it back if I want to take a closer look at the list. If I want to zoom in or out, I just need to scroll my mouse wheel up or down. That'll do this for us. I can also hold my left mouse in the body of the chart and do this back and forth. If I go over to the numbers and hold my left mouse button down, I can scrunch up or scrunch down. So you can get it sized the way it's supposed to be, right? You know, we all have that in our heads. So what it's supposed to look like. Your trend line tool is going to be right here, in this guy right here, where you can draw, you know, your trend lines, whether it's an actual trend line or a horizontal support or resistance line. Very easy to do there. If I don't need it, I'll just left click it and I can put it in the trash bin. As far as that goes, the default setting is to 1 day on candlesticks. These are swing trading candidates. Most traders these days, including us here at Tackle Trading, use the candlesticks, but if for whatever reason you prefer bar charts, you can easily switch over by doing that. We can change our time frame if we want to go in and say, look, at an intraday for a stop loss or for an entry or something like that. If we want to look longer term, hey, what does that weekly look like though? Right. So there's some flexibility. You can change your time frame in here. You can add an indicator or two if you would like to. Just smack the indicator button here. Do keep in mind that if I add an indicator, so say I come in here and add the ATR, that's going to add the ATR here. If I don't need it this big, I just hover my mouse over on the barrier between the volume and this indicator and hold the left mouse button down. I can scrunch it up or down as I need to. Can scrunch that down there. It's not going to save though. So if I leave this page and come back, the ATR is not coming back with me. So just be aware if you're adding several indicators, just be aware of that, right? Typically, I just add the ATR for that reason. You also have your longer, your short position tool here. So this is a bullish breakout, and I'm not going to be super specific here, but let's just say we've determined our entry is at 160.35, since that's where my mouse is. I'll just select that there. I've got an idea of a target price up here in this 173.50 range. I want to put my stop loss below this little base of candles that have been kind of percolating over here this last week or so. And this is going to let me know what my risk to reward's looking like. For every dollar I'm risking, I have $2.19 of potential reward if this thing plays out. So I can get an idea of what the risk to reward looks like. Maybe your target was 170, right? You didn't felt as far as you were comfortable going. We'll let you know that that's $1.62 for every dollar you're risking. Most of us as swing traders have the 2-to-1 or better rule for good reasons, I think. So maybe you say, well, that's just not going to work. Or maybe I need to tighten up my stop loss. Maybe I need to go to this intraday chart and see if there's a stop loss location that I would be comfortable with. Or you know what, maybe I just have to pass on this one, right? Sometimes that's just the way it works, but it really is a helpful tool. It helps you visualize the trade, does the math for you, so you know what your risk to reward looks like. Really, really helpful little tool, in my opinion. Again, that's this guy right here, and you have that for both the long and the short positions, depending on which way you're going. I don't need that, so I'll hit that trash button. Very easy to get rid of it. So just a few things that you can do on those embedded trading view charts. Again, we just want to make sure our team has actionable ideas going into each week, whether it's in the world of commodities, just a stock trader, an option trader, all of the above, right? Just want to make sure our team has some actionable ideas going into each and every trading week. We'll make sure we get all of these delivered to the team by Saturday afternoon. Don't be afraid to prioritize, right? If you're primarily a cash flow trader, you might start the option report first, right? If you don't trade options, you might hit the stock report first and then hit the option report. Hey, just because it's in the option report doesn't mean I couldn't trade stock on it, right? I could do that. So don't be afraid to have a priority system in place. Again, don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading, if you will. As we get wrapping up, just a couple other quick things. The tackle today is our daily email. We send out just some quick thoughts each and every morning. If you would like that, just smack tackle today. You can easily sign up for the daily email. In that email, in addition to the quick thought of the day, you'll have the lineup and all the links and everything to get into the different shows that we're doing that day. If you would prefer to read it on this page, you absolutely can do that as well. It will be delivered to your inbox faster, but we will get it posted on this page as well if you'd prefer to read it there. The Huddle podcast is an end of the week podcast, just quickly goes over the top 10 stories of the trading week. This will just bring you to the Huddle podcast. You can easily listen to it here or on any of your favorite podcast providers. Just quick top 10 stories of the week, right? Just to make, maybe you didn't have enough time to dedicate to the market, or maybe you just want to, make sure you didn't miss anything. Quick and to the point, just the top 10 stories of the week at the end of the trading week. Over at our friends at tradingjustice.com, each week they do the Trading Justice podcast. Always a really, really good listen. You can listen to it directly over at tradingjustice.com or on any of your favorite podcast providers. I'm very much looking forward to this upcoming one. They're going to be talking to Pete Thomas, who's always got great insight into the world of metals. Always one of my favorite listens, and they're all really fun to listen to. But I'll be honest, I always really get excited about the Pete podcast, is what I call it. He's a good friend of the show. It's a really insightful and fun trading podcast. Some really good discussions are going on over there each week. Definitely would encourage you to make some time for it in your weekly routine. Again, you can listen to it directly over at tradingjustice.com or on any of your favorite podcast providers. Our friends over at Trading Justice also do a really nice monthly newsletter that's very much worth reading. Very insightful stuff over there. So that's our friends, Coach Matt, Coach Mark, and Coach Tim over at tradingjustice.com. We are active on all of the different social media platforms. Certainly invite you to join us if you're using Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Certainly invite you to join us over there. Of course, we're probably in a lot of ways best known for our live stuff that we do on YouTube these days. We do halftime report every day, the Trade Masters every Wednesday, a lot of special webinars throughout the month here as well. But we have a lot of other stuff over there as well. We have things for swim tutorial, how-tos, walkthroughs, and we're always thinking of new things that we can add. So certainly would appreciate if you did hit the subscribe and the notification bell. It certainly does help us within the world of the YouTube algorithm, and hopefully it helps you be alerted to any time we're doing, going live or added a new video or anything along those lines as well. Let's see, that is going to do it for the evening. But as we get wrapping up here, I said it a couple times, but I'll say it one more time. Don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading. There's a lot of content here, right? There's a lot of shows that are very specific time. There's a lot of shows that we've done over the years. There's, hours and hours and hours and hours of content on lots and lots and lots and lots of subjects, right? It can be overwhelming. And I understand that there's only so much time that we all have in a day. Don't be afraid to prioritize. Don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading. Someone who's been around the market for 5 years and is doing a lot of cash flow systems, probably going to use it a little bit different than somebody who just started buying call options 3 months ago. And that's okay, right? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. by any means. Don't be afraid to build your own tackle training. There's lots of ways to connect with the community, right? The Discord channel is a great way to do it. I definitely encourage you to get over there. It's a really fun place to be. Each morning in the lounge, the Wednesday night lounge, send us an email, right? Lots of ways to interact with the team, lots of ways to ask for help if you need it. Never hesitate to reach out to somebody if you need something. We're all in this together. I mean, I can't make your trades, you can't make my trades, but we can help each other out, right? If you're struggling with something that I can help you with, I'm happy to do so. If I can't help you with it, maybe I know somebody who can, right? If you've got a good trade set up, you probably are more than happy to share it with me. I know I'm certainly happy to share any setup I find interesting with you. So don't hesitate to reach out, lean on your team. Trading doesn't have to be lonely, and it certainly is not lonely here at tackletrading.com. Hopefully, this gave you a better idea of who we are and what we're doing and when we're doing it and where you can find it and all of that fun stuff. If you're a new pro member, I certainly welcome you to the team, and I'll definitely be seeing you around at these different shows and everything. Look forward to getting to know you. If you're not yet a pro member, appreciate you hanging out here tonight as well. We do have a standing offer of a free 15-day trial. You can find the link to that in any of our YouTube videos. You can find it over in the store tab as well. If you'd like to come in, give it a shot, free 15-day trial, see if it's a good fit. Hopefully it is, and you found a good home. And if not, well, no harm, no foul. We'll show you around the YouTube stuff and all of that stuff. We appreciate all of our team members. That is for sure. And I thank everybody for your time. I'll let you get out of here. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Have a great week, both in and out of the market. Welcome to Tackle Trading, and I will see you all again very, very soon. But until then, good night, everybody.